Right, let's see here. It looks like we are live. So I have a special guest today here for a little live session, a little live discussion. Very impromptu. Literally, we decided 5 minutes ago to do this, where I have Jacob Ghena, who is an icon agent with EXP Realty. He hit icon in his first 12 months with EXP Realty. And we're just going to talk about how he's doing it, what prompted him to check out EXP and make the switch, and just kind of unpack some things for the good of the audience here. Before we do that, I always need to make sure that the technology is working as it should be. It does look like it's working. It does look like we're live. Do me a huge favor and smash the like button and comment if you can hear and see us. So Jacob, why don't you start by introducing yourself? Tell folks a little bit about who you are, what market areas you service, how many years you've been in the business, and you have some interesting backstory as well. But certainly hit on those points, especially so maybe we can get you some referrals up there in Oregon.
Well, thanks so much for having me on, Josh. So I've been a realtor here in Southern Oregon. It'll be 8 years this June, and I heard about EXP and have some really great people here locally that had joined the company, and was always, I don't know, probably for a good maybe 18 months before I joined, was kind of EXP curious, you might say, right? But I was in a really good relationship with my existing broker and was kind of fearful to make the leap. And then I met you. It's really what I that was really a big thing that drew me over. I come from a background of I got my formal training is actually in financial planning. I got my MBA in financial planning from Cal Lutheran University. My BA was in accounting, and I was all set and prepared to go become a certified financial planner. I had this whole path laid out in front of me, and then I saw a house get flipped. Something like, 10 years ago. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can never sell anybody a stock. This is too lucrative, and you have too much control over your risk factors to ever want to own a stock again. So I set on fire, 6 years of education to go take a 150-hour real estate course and become a real estate agent. And that led to a house flipping career where we flipped about 80 homes in the last 4 years, and worked with a small group of investors, and was really set at my existing brokerage doing that because I had a great relationship with my principal broker, who's kind of my partner in that business. And someone shared with me this weird business model where you got stock in the company and benefits for recruiting other people, and generous splits. And I had never gotten anything more than a gift card if I ever brought somebody into my old brokerage. But I knew, but my intuition was like, coming from a flipping background, in terms of like, that was kind of like, I'm always looking for a deal, right? Like, you can't buy anything retail.
Right.
I was the kid who got up at 6 a.m. with my mom when I was 7 years old, and we got the donut and she got the coffee, and then we went garage sailing, right? Like, that was in my blood, that if you needed a new pair of shoes, you didn't go to Walmart. You went to garage sales every Friday morning for 3 months until you found something that fit, right?
Yeah.
And you bought it not for $30, for 30 cents.
Right.
So that was just in my blood from the very beginning. And I wanted to go find, I didn't know if there would be any like-minded people at EXP that were just looking to do more than recruit people, right? Because that was the culture of a lot of the EXP folks that I ran into here locally. It was like, hey, we're gonna come join us, all this stuff. And EXP has a great value proposition, but I wanted something more. And I wanted those 30-cent garage sale shoes. And then I found you, and you shared with me about the home boss selling system and your marketing strategies with Facebook. And I thought, this is more. And then I jumped ship.
Awesome. Well, and listen, you're not the only one that had at least a perception or initial exposure to EXP of it just being about recruiting. And we have tried to build a culture in our organization that it first and foremost is production. We want to help our organization sell more homes first and foremost, because that will solve many or most financial pains. And long term build wealth and equity and assets, whether it be through recruiting, sponsoring, and also through the agent equity plan, which is, stock in the company. Our stock's not too shabby. We've got a pretty good company.
And the stock's worthless if none of the agents sell houses, sort of thing, right? And so that was my fear. Like, I didn't know how to process EXP at first, right? It's like, my very first inclination was just to be dismissive. I don't want your stock, it's probably on its way to zero, sort of thing, So, but no, I sit on the other side of being with the company for almost a year and a half now. And like you mentioned, made Icon agent in the first year, and got I don't know, I'm not sure if I can say or not, but we have a bunch of ownership now in the company. So
yeah, I don't know that we're supposed to say the amount, but it's pretty cool. It's neat to log in and to be able to see how many shares you have and the amount of wealth that you've accumulated in the company that we get to participate in bringing value to it and making it, valuable and worthwhile.
I'll say this: if as an Icon agent, we're able to earn our cap back in stock, right?
It's
amazing. So that's 16,000. And I have a multiple of that in company stock now, 18 months in. And some of that's been appreciation, but a lot of that has just been the fact that we've been, the company is just strange in that they've figured out a way to keep and maintain top talent by making them owners in the company, which is something that I've never seen in another brokerage before.
And by strange, he meant that in a good way. And I will say one way I've heard EXP described by someone in at the company is the last best business opportunity if you're in real estate. And that is my personal experience. I've been, an entrepreneur in many forms and fashions. I've tried tons of different business models. I've built 2 different multi 7-figure businesses, and I have been able to create more wealth and equity in 18 to 24 months than I did in the previous 15 years combined. And it's not because I'm anything special. It's because this model is just incredible. It's agent centric, and Glenn, the founder, has just built something incredible. And I'm grateful every day that I get to play in this playground. Is the truth. Now, we've mentioned a couple of times Icon, that he's an Icon agent. So I want to unpack what that means for people who are don't know what that means. First and foremost, it is way more than just an award, right? At other companies, they'll give you trophies, or like Jacob mentioned, maybe a gift card if you bring someone in. Like you have, when you're an Icon, first of all, to be awarded Icon status, there are 2 ways. Number one is 500,000 in GCI in a 12-month period. 500,000 GCI in a 12-month period, which is for folks typically in very high-end average home price markets.
Sure.
That's not where Jacob's at. That's not where I'm at. The other way is that you cap. And for those of you who don't know, with EXP, we have an 80-20 split up to 80,000 in GCI. So basically you pay 16,000 in. After that, you're 100%. So you cap plus 20 transactions. And when you do that and you meet some other simple requirements, the company will give you back your cap in company stock, which is not only, which means you're getting back money that you poured in, and that's going to grow in value as we continue to grow as a company and the stock value increases. So in that first 12-month period, Jacob, do you, well, I probably should have asked you before. Do you care? Do you care sharing how many transactions?
No. So yeah, so I have I run a small team here in Southern Oregon. That's me and two other people. They're both newer in their real estate careers. One of them was in their first year. The other was in their second year last year. Together they did something like somewhere between 30 and 40 transactions. And in me personally, I did about 50. So last year, I met the requirements to be an icon agent because I met the $80,000 in GCI. I did that in, I think I did that by May of last year, and I started in December. And this year I did it as of March, sort of thing is when I capped out with the company. So I did that in 3 to 4 months. And then we have to do 20 transactions past capping. And right. When we say 20 transactions, there's a transaction fee we pay after we cap. That's $250 for each transaction, up to 20. And then when you hit 20, it drops to I think it's like 100 or something like that.
Yeah. Or it might be half of it, one and a quarter.
Yeah. It gets very small. So, but the idea is that you have to create $5,000 in fees, either at $250 a piece, or if you're doing some kind of split with a team member, in which case some of that was with my team members on 50-50 or 75-25 splits. So I got in excess of that $5,000 of fees to the company. And then they awarded me 60 days later with $8,000 in company stock because I met the performance requirement, and I'm able to earn another $8,000 by either interviewing other icon agents or going ahead and mentoring other agents in the company. This is actually a really cool thing. The top icon agents, roughly speaking, are the top 1% in performers in the company in terms of how many transactions they do.
Right.
And they either get to learn best practices by interviewing other icon agents to earn what's called their cultural reward, to earn some of that full $16,000 in stock, or they get to mentor new agents that come into the company. So this is a really neat setup. It's smart because the company's actually set it up where the top 1% in performers in the company actually get to go ahead and are incentivized to teach brand new agents coming into the company. So I have some mentees that are underneath me, and I'll get $4,000 of stock when I've done that for a year. And then we have to go to our shareholders meeting and our what's the other one? EXP Con, right?
EXP Con, yep.
To earn the other 4,000,
which are happening virtually until more of this COVID blows over.
So can I share with you what I'm doing? We're actually, shareholders meeting is next month. Yep. I'll get $2,000 of stock for going to something like, I don't know, it's like 15 hours of meetings over the course of a week. I thought to myself, you know what? I would like some little umbrella in my drink while I'm on my laptop attending meetings. So we're actually taking, me and the wife are going to go down to Sedona, Arizona, and I'm going to do the shareholders meeting, earn my $2,000 in company stock, sitting by the pool.
That's awesome.
because I thought, you know what, I shouldn't be, I can't.
You've earned it.
I've earned it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. If we were going in person, I would be paying for the drinks with the umbrellas in it. For sure. For sure. So, whole bunch of things there. I want to unpack. I'm sure people are wondering, and actually before that, if you're watching this and you like the idea of being actually rewarded with something more than a plaque or a sign or some some piece of paper that says congrats, actual financial reward for production, because we just talked about Icon, but you actually can earn with our company. You can earn stock by with your first transaction. If you recruit or sponsor someone, there are other ways that you earn stock. And if you like the idea of that, do me a huge favor. Hit the like button or the heart button. Now, so you're producing. Your small team is producing. I'm sure people are wondering, like, what are your sources of business? Where are these clients and transactions coming from? So what are like those primary sources for you to hit those kind of numbers?
Yeah. So like I said, I did personally about 50 deals. I've been doing it for 8 years. So sphere of influence is definitely one of them. The part of being able to earn a sphere's repeat business is actually doing this well, right? It's hard to get people to come back to you if you do a lousy job. So, so we're really big on, again, always looking for that kind of that unfair advantage. We're really big on understanding and utilizing technology to equip our clients with just a better experience. My mom's a former lender. So I used to, at one point very long ago, I was her assistant for a period of time. And so we tend to understand the lending world better than most. So serving our sphere really well with, and we can go into this more in a moment if you want, but with just unique value propositions that make us attractive to get them to come back to us is a really big thing. For new business,
which also works great beyond that too. I'm sure that gets you more referral business and also has value beyond the sphere of influence, right? Because you do actually provide more value than the average agent in your market.
Well, I always just tell people that, I have the personality of a piece of wood, so I better be really good at this. And because I'm not like, I have 4 young children, I'm surprised you can't hear them screaming inside. Everyone in my house is under the age of 7 and younger, right? So we're busy with, karate and football and, all these activities and, getting woken up in the middle of the night. And so I don't have time to be so many agents are so relational, right? That's what they kind of depend on. I don't have time to go to a client's kid's soccer game on Saturday, right? I got my own soccer game.
You're right. Yeah, you've got several of your own.
So we made a decision a long time ago that we'd better be really good at this, because no one's really going to fall in love with our personalities. So that's the natural place, and that lines up well with what we believe in anyway. Simply because, in the same way that I want those garage sale shoes for 30 cents, I want that same thing for our clients too.
Right. Yeah.
So that's turned into some unique things where we built some technologies for our team surrounding this idea called text alerts, where we can get properties in front of buyers before they're on Zillow. We probably know more about financing than anyone else on this side of a transaction. So we have I have a client that's in a transaction right now where he's going to get 100% financing with a subsidized 1% interest rate with no mortgage insurance. And that's a special government program that we got him into. He's also getting a $15,000 grant to cover all of his closing costs. So like that's kind of a neat, fun thing.
Now,
So
just wait a minute. Hold on. So if you're listening, please understand that client that he just described, are you like, that client is going to scream from the rooftops, from the mountaintops, how amazing Jacob and his team are, and be an advocate, not a past client. That person will be an advocate. They will go out of their way to find ways to send Jacob more business. But that can only happen when you deliver that kind of value. And full transparency, I've had a license since like 2006 or 7. I've been doing real estate. I got started as an investor in 03, 04. When you started telling me, I didn't even know about some of this stuff that you're doing. So good on you for the level of expertise and the type of value you're bringing. That is, you help that client find the 30-cent sneakers at the garage sale. and they will never ever forget that, ever.
So we really just try to emphasize on coming up with unique things that we can unpack for people, either whether on the buying side or sell side. For people that we don't know, we're trying to be attractive to them. Having those unique things, I feel like, makes us more attractive, right? If we're able to sit down with we do most of our buyer lead generation either on Facebook or first-time home buyer Zoom classes is where a lot of that comes from. And we'll just sit down and we'll just talk them through like, hey, would you like to know about properties before they hit the market, or before they hit Zillow? Would you like to hear about how you can get free grant money? Would you like to hear about how you can get a subsidized 1% interest rate? We have this new thing that you and I have kind of developed together, where we're calling off-market properties for folks, because it's so competitive right now in the buying space. We'll take someone's criteria as far as what they're after, and we figured out a way to be able to reach out to hundreds of different homeowners in a given neighborhood and just say, hey, do you have any interest in potentially selling in the near future? We have a client that's raised his hand about your neighborhood and they're looking to write you a full priced offer. Would you be interested in looking at that? And that actually turns out works really well, not just for trying to serve buyers and get them off-market deals where they're not competing against 10 other offers, but also works really well for getting listings.
Yeah.
So I know that you've gotten a couple of these. I want to say that I have one buyer deal from a conversation in that's a $400,000 deal that's in escrow right now. I have 2 other listing agreements that are signed that are going live later this month from some off-market calling that we've been doing. So having just those unique, that you kind of like, not many agents I know about when a client comes to them and says, hey, listen, I need, I'm looking to buy this, but I'm not a cash buyer. Or like in my market, if you're not a cash buyer or you don't have a large down payment, it's very discouraging to look for properties right now. Right. It's just so hard. But we're able to uncover opportunities for those clients by some of this phone calling that we're doing for them. So that's really cool. So business comes to us that way. Try to think about what else. My investor business is a really interesting leg. We've attracted over the years a couple $1 million of investor money, and we essentially have a very clear expectation with them that I've done this before, you haven't, so shut up and give me your money. And so we kind of have like a carte blanche approach where we essentially go source and find properties for them that they can buy at a discount. We manage the rehab of getting those things fixed up, and then we help them sell them. And that's worked really well when we sit down with sellers. We have a deal that we closed on for an investor last month where we actually sat down with the potential seller and we said, hey, listen, we can do a traditional listing, right? We have this option where we can go ahead and we can bring an investor and they'll buy your home and you'll pay no commissions and you'll get to stay in the house for 3 months after close of escrow for free. And they had this really, their home was, they really didn't want anybody in their home due to COVID and some other things, but they really wanted to sell. And the investor option honored them the best. The investor got it at a good price and the client got it sold with no commissions. And the investor paid us a commission to essentially bring them this client, which was great.
Yeah. When you can offer a seller, in this case, options versus, someone that's just saying, this is the way we do business, it makes it easier for them to say yes to you. When you're giving them multiple options and they get to choose, and this is one of your phrases, I know, which one honors them best.
Yeah.
That's a different positioning than, well, look, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is how we do things. Yes or no. Right. And we're taking a different stance. These are the different options and paths that we can take you down, whichever one honors you best, whichever one makes the most sense for you. We can explore that option. I had an appointment this morning with a seller. Same scenario. It was a preview appointment. I'm not competing against anyone else. They weren't even looking for an agent. But through some of the marketing and the messaging and things that we do, I got a preview appointment and I'm going to send him 3 options. I'm going to give him those options, and then he's going to choose which one makes the most sense for him. This is someone that does want to sell, and one way or another, we're going to end up with the business, and they get to choose on their terms, right? We're not making them abide by our terms; they get to choose. And so, I love that which one honors you best. I think is that's gold. That's words matter, and the words you choose have a big impact, and that's a good one.
We use that a lot.
Yeah. So we've been going here for a little bit. You have given people watching a lot to think about. So what I want to throw out as we start to come in for a landing here is, if you're curious about EXP, if you're curious about some of the things that Jacob mentioned that we've unpacked here, certainly feel free to reach out. Either one of us would be happy to chat with you. We're all, we're both on social media. We're both, easy to find. If you're interested, you can send a private message. You can Google us and find, a phone number or email address or whatever the case may be. We didn't even get into the fact that if you would like more information about some of the other additional resources and benefits that we've been able to put together for our organization, and you're just curious about that, let us know and we can send you more information. We didn't even really unpack that, but that's a huge value proposition that we provide for folks who are EXP curious, is a number of different coaches and mentors and listing tools and resources and marketing materials that are first and foremost about how we can help you sell more real estate. Like, let's fix that problem first, because for most people watching this, for most real estate agents watching this, you would love to sell twice as many homes this year as you did last year, or maybe 1.5 times, or maybe the same amount, but not have to work as hard, right? And if that's the case, we'd love to chat and point you in that direction. And Jacob, I don't know if you have any maybe final thoughts or words for someone who is thinking about exploring or interested in EXP and what we're doing. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think there's, so I'm naturally kind of a proud person. Things kind of need to be my idea first in order for me to consume them or think that they're any good, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's always my nature to, when I hear somebody introduce something to me that's kind of radically different than anything I've ever thought of before, hey, look at this company where you can, earn stock in the company and, get more than a gift card, actually get thousands of dollars a month in revenue for recruiting people into the company, and get connected to people in a way that I never fully appreciated. I thought me sitting in my little office back at my old brokerage, that was the best way to be connected to other resources, to other individuals.
Yep.
And Josh, you do this daily huddle where like a dozen, 2 dozen people are in there every morning. And I've called you, I don't know how many times, like 2, 3 times now, just thanking you, saying, man, this is the best thing ever, because we're constantly getting exposed to top agents, not just in our office, but throughout the country, right? And I mean, it is the ideas, the encouragement, the amount of leverage that you're able to have when you expose yourself to some of those ideas is it's career changing. So I don't know. I would encourage anybody who's looking at EXP to be really curious, to kind of set their pride aside, and to just ask lots of questions, because I've yet to see an individual where this isn't a good fit. Maybe the only person it's not a good fit for is someone who like doesn't, if you don't want to sell houses, sort of thing, right?
Right.
Like if you're not all that, maybe it's not a good fit for that type of person, right? Because I mean, you do have to, for me to get the benefit of your daily huddles, I do have to go to them, sort of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So
You got to put in the work. Like this
yeah,
is not, there's no magic pill to this. You got to do the work, but you can work smarter. You can work smarter. And massive props to you, because the daily huddle was your idea. And so it was just it wasn't even my idea. I just decided, hey, that's probably a good idea. And we've been doing them now for several months, every Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. And they fill me up. You've been so encouraging, and provided great feedback. And I had a call with another massive producer that just recently joined our organization, did over 50 deals last year in Utah. And the first thing he said was, man, these daily huddles, like this is awesome. And it's not, it's not because of me doing anything special. It's that there's a whole bunch of people and we're all moving in the same direction and sharing and uplifting and asking questions and getting feedback and it's just, yeah, I mean, they fill me up, they excite me. And let me also say, if you're curious about what those look like, reach out to one of us and you are more than welcome to join us. We're an open book. We'll get you a link. You can come for a day, you can come for a week. We don't care. Like, we want you to see and experience what it might look like, what it might feel like if you did come on over. And
so to put a bow on that, when I found out that EXP is a virtual brokerage, I immediately, my brain couldn't process that. I thought, I'm not going to see anybody. I'm not going to have good collaboration. I'm not going to be exposed to better ideas, and nothing could essentially be further from the truth. Right? It's been the exact opposite of that. That the quality of the ideas and the people and the breadth and width of it is so much better when you're pulling not just like from your own little microcosm, right? But you're getting to pull from all of these sources all over the state and with your team nationally. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. So if you liked this, if this was eye-opening, if you thought some of what Jacob is doing is interesting and exciting, certainly like, comment, share. If you'd like to chat, please reach out. If you want to join us for a huddle, please reach out. If you're curious about the additional resources and benefits that you would have access to with our organization, let us know. We're happy to. Neither one of us in any way, shape, or form is a hardcore seller. That's not going to happen. We're happy to have a conversation. We're happy to chat about the value and why we're here and what we're doing, but we're certainly not going to try and pressure you or push you into doing anything. I think you described it great. We try to pull the right people in our direction. And, if that works, great. We'd love to have you. And if not, that's okay too. Like, we're okay either way. We're okay either way. So, Jacob, I can't thank you enough. Literally, 40 minutes ago, you had no idea we were doing this. So thank you for being flexible and sharing with folks your experience. And one last time, folks, please don't hesitate to reach out. It does you no harm to get some more information and make an educated decision. I promise you, you won't regret at least getting more information. Right? You may not choose to make a switch, but there's no harm and there's no regret in at least being informed about what you're passing on if that is the case. So, Jacob, thanks again. Appreciate you being part of our group, and excited for many more prosperous years to come.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Josh.